drinking. About to make history. He's the first to do it.
He's a great fighter, like I say, he's not Canelo. Obviously, I'm being in this situation for a long time, and I have the experience. They only focus on my power, but I have more than that. He's not gonna beat me. Don't worry about it. He's not gonna beat me. Don't worry about it.
Let us talk about the press meeting. Things quickly became tense. What started out as mutual respect turned into insults and big fights over who was right. Canelo made it clear that Crawford would not beat him, but gently told him that the belts were already on their way home and that Canelo could not stop them. They gave each other a cold look. This wasn't a normal promotional event. These two guys are sure they are about to change the course of boxing history.
For sure, them belts coming with me. They coming home with me. I'm telling you right now.
You can see it, but it's gonna be difficult. You take it to your
I'm taking them. And ain't nothing you gonna be able to do about it come fight night.
I know Turkey's in your corner, but
promise you.
But look, it's gonna be very difficult. He's gonna be so mad that day. Believe me.
I see you. I see you. You see I'm different.
I see you too.
You see I'm different than all the other ones.
No, I see you. No, you don't know different. You're nothing different.
I'm different.
Nothing different.
I'm different.
We'll see.
You gonna see.
We'll
you know
see.
it.
We'll see.
Undisputed glory on the line. Your time. I'm gonna play you to sunset history. About to make history. He's the first to do it. In front of the man. First time. Once in a lifetime, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Terrence Bud Crawford and Canelo.
Eddie Hearn versus Canelo Alvarez is a dream matchup. Speed versus accuracy, and skill versus inexperience. Let's hear from experts on this.
I think Bud gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference?
About Terrence Crawford calling out Canelo.
I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much weight, and he had a close fight with the last guy he fought, Terrence, because this guy was big and he was awkward. He was really awkward. He shouldn't have fought that guy. He should have fought a guy that was just come straight at him. The guy was too awkward.
He's herky-jerky.
Or one of them.
Yeah.
See, there's is a missing.
But I think my initial reaction would be to say that I think that Crawford would be the superior boxer, as great as Canelo is, as seasoned as he is, with 65 fights, if I recall, on his record. He's phenomenal. But Crawford is something special. I think that he's a better pure boxer. I think boxing-wise, he's going to give...
Eddie Hearn's voice stands out in the crowded boxing world full of strong views and bold predictions. He has a lot to say. Even though Eddie Hearn has always supported Canelo Alvarez and the two have worked together for a long time, he admits that Terrence Crawford's style is different. Eddie noticed a level of confidence in Crawford and Riyadh that was difficult to deny, and it rubbed off on him. Crawford clearly feels he will win this bout, and his confidence is contagious. Hearn still thinks Canelo can win, but his prediction currently favors Crawford.
Favoring Crawford in the fight, or has your opinion changed?
I mean, I've always favoured Canelo in the fight.
Well, I've heard that you want Canelo to win, but you feel...
Of course, yeah. I like Terrence, but I've worked a lot with Canelo, and I think just because of what I saw in Riyadh and because of the threat, and he's getting on as well, Crawford, but it's just like the mindset of Crawford. Like, there's no doubt in Terrence Crawford's mind that he wins this fight. And when you spend a bit of time with him, you kind of start buying into that. And I guess that's what happened in Riyadh, because I travelled with him to the fight, and but it's a 50-50 fight. I think gun to head, I'm probably picking Crawford.
What makes this fight so complicated? Crawford's complicated style, according to Eddie Hearn, is defined by stance switching, savvy movement, and fighting. Off the back foot, Hearn compares Crawford's likely approach to what Dimitri Bivol used against Canelo, a mix of movement, smart attacks, and not allowing Canelo to become comfortable. Crawford may not be as careful as Bivol, but he will surely apply pressure with a similar tactic.
But I want Canelo to win, and he can win for sure. But Terence is going to make it really tricky and awkward for him, and I don't think he's going to like that kind of fight.
When you say tricky and awkward with switching stances, like what do you mean
Moving,
by that?
fighting off the back foot.
Yeah.
A lot of, he'll engage a lot more than Skull, but he will be looking to do all the things where people have had success, which is use movement. Look at what Bivol did. Bivol had the perfect game plan. He boxed off the back foot, then he attacked, then he moved, then he, all that kind of stuff. And I think Crawford will be looking to do exactly.
Even if Canelo loses, Eddie thinks it will not damage his legacy. Canelo is already an all-time great, and taking on someone who started at a far lower weight is a major risk, but also a massive paycheck that he would never turn down.
If Terence, one, do you think if Canelo loses, it hurts anything to his legacy?
No, Canelo's an all-time great. He's an incredible fighter. And look, I actually think this is a bad fight for him, because you're losing to a 147, obviously 154 now. But the money's the money, and he was never going to turn it down.
Following Hearn's lead, Teddy Atlas, a big boss in boxing, offered insightful commentary. He notes how people began to mistrust Crawford when he fought Madame Moran did not dominate as predicted, but rather than criticizing Crawford, Teddy sees this as a result of unrealistic expectations. Crawford changed and found a way to win. Just like Teddy expects him to do against Canelo, it's not just about size and weight. It's about Crawford's ability to adjust and find gears that others can't.
And that's great. That is tremendous. And you can make arguments both sides. Well, Canelo's too big. He's too big, and Crawford, as good as he is, he stepped up with Matrimorph, and he struggled a little bit. He won, but it was more competitive than we thought. Well, we didn't understand how good Matrimorph was, because we underestimated him, because he only had 10 pro fights, but he had 300 amateur fights. He was a good, solid fighter, right? And he's on this card, of course, but he was a good, solid fighter. We didn't understand that, so we started to knock down Crawford a little bit because our expectations were so high, and that's wrong. That's wrong. He won, he changed gears, he did what he had to do when he realized the level of this guy in front of him, and he got the win. But
for Teddy, Crawford's speed and agility are big selling points. When people think Canelo is too powerful or too heavy, Teddy responds that Crawford is faster, more inventive, and has more tools in his toolbox. He compares this to Manny Pacquiao's fight with Oscar de la Hoya. Everyone expected Oscar would have an upper hand, but Manny's speed and angles changed the game. Teddy believed that something similar may occur here.
You reverse who's got the advantage and the disadvantage. Yeah, the size, the power of Canelo, he's got the advantage. Then all of a sudden you go back and you say, wait a minute. The other guy's faster. The other guy's craftier. The other guy has more options. The other guy is slicker. Oh, maybe he's got the advantages. Like the first time Pacquiao fought De La Hoya. And I know De La Hoya was having trouble with weight. No, I get it, and that's fair. But still, I remember I picked that one. Every once in a while I pick one right. I remember that I picked that one where Pacquiao's going to win. And I said, yeah, you're saying that De La Hoya's bigger, he's stronger. He's got the power edge, he's got this edge. But the other guy's quicker. And that's going to be an edge.
Despite Canelo's impressive resume and knowledge of fighting the best, Teddy sees something unique in Crawford. He thinks Crawford has unique instincts, such as a split-second sense of timing and the ability to read the moment and react before others are aware of what has occurred. These are not things that can be taught, they come naturally. Teddy thinks his particular instincts could be the difference in a fight like this.
But I'm one of the people that thinks Crawford is very, very special. I'm not saying Canelo's not, but I think he's special in a different way. where he's got instincts that not everyone has. That it's the timing, it's the instinctual things, the X factors, the intangibles that he has. And I think they're going to show themselves. I really do.
Finally, Teddy's forecast is clear. He feels Crawford is unusually skilled and capable of defeating a bigger fighter like Canelo. He is enthusiastic not only about the fight, but also because it ties into something bigger, the traditional story of David versus Goliath. And he thinks Crawford has the capabilities to pull it off right in front of our eyes.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to see a smaller guy use those intangibles, use those X factors to beat a bigger guy. I always wanted to see David and Goliath live. Didn't you?
Of course, absolutely. I would as well.
Okay, well, get ready to watch it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
After hearing Hearn's ambivalent devotion and Atlas's deep appreciation for Crawford's instincts, Joe Rogan gave his typical no-nonsense analysis, based on sheer combat IQ and respect for skill. He did not need to explain or compare resumes. His aim was clear and direct. This fight is about size, power, and whether Crawford can handle it. Joe said right away that his biggest fear is whether Crawford would be big enough to withstand Canelo's tower, which is where the fight may alter. He respects Canelo's strength and knows how dangerous he becomes when he walks opponents down. Joe thinks that if Crawford cannot keep Canelo away from him, it may be a long and miserable night. If I need to get your thoughts on Canelo Alvarez takes on Terence Crawford. In September we were talking earlier about big weight jumps. This is obviously a massive weight jump for Terence Crawford. Yeah, I guess for yourself it's a few months away now, but how'd you break down? However, he does not doubt Crawford's skill. He made it clear that he completely believes everything Crawford says about himself in a sport where hype often overshadows reality. Crawford, according to Rogan, delivers. He deconstructed Errol Spence, for example, for reasons other than Spence's past ailments. Joe feels Crawford would have done that to him even years ago. You know why this is the best bout to break down for Ring? Because Ring is all about the history of the sport, and you guys are taking the history of the sport to people who, want to know it but don't know it, or who do know it but want to learn more about it. Joe praised Crawford's fluid style, calling him one of the best switch hitters in boxing. Whether Crawford starts in orthodox or southpaw, he knows how to switch things up in the middle of the fight and throw off his opponent's time. Rogan admires Crawford's ability to change not only positions, a full strategy dependent on his emotions at the time. That skill, in his view, gives Crawford a real chance, and it has always been one of the most pressing concerns in the sport. Who will win between the really good large man and the really good tiny man, or the great big man and the great little man? Who wins? That had been he also stressed Crawford's sense of position and distance. Joe admires boxers who can throw punches while knowing where to stand and how to dodge what's coming. Crawford, he believes, is an artist in the ring, capable of making even the most complex plans look smooth and effortless.
Question through the history of this sport. We get another chance to answer that question. And that's great. That is tremendous. And you can make arguments both sides. Well, Canelo's too big. He's too big, and Crawford.
Joe's breakdown says one thing: if Crawford can handle the power and size difference, his skills are more than adequate to win. He sees the matchup as a test of grit versus technique and size versus strategy. And while he has reservations, he thinks Crawford has the tools to shock the world. As great as he is, he went up to Madrimov and struggled slightly. He won, but it was more competitive. We thought we didn't understand how good Madrimov was because we underestimated him because he only had 10 pro fights, but 300 amateur fights. After Joe Rogan expressed his technical concerns and appreciation for Crawford's abilities, Jim Lampley offered a more experienced view. Lampley thinks Canelo is one of the smartest boxers in the business. He praises Canelo with the ability to study and learn from legends such as Floyd Mayweather, not only in the ring but also in terms of career management. He says Canelo still knows how to entertain spectators when necessary, but his foundation is counterpunching and defensive skill. He is not the sort to rush. He waits for the ideal moment and lands. Is Canelo smart? Absolutely, he's smart, and he knows this business better than anyone. So, no, it's not unexpected that Canelo learned from Floyd and has used part of that knowledge to help him continue his career. Canelo still knows how. One of the most notable aspects of Lampley's forecast is his belief in Canelo's toughness. He points out that no one has truly felled Canelo. Even his only official knockdown in his career was not a clean fall. It occurred when he rebounded off the ropes and the ref called it legally. Lampley mentions Canelo's physical strength, especially his legs, claiming that his foundation is stronger than anyone else's. He makes pyrotechnics when absolutely necessary, but at the end of the day, he's a counter-puncher, a terrific defender, and has the sport's best punch resistance. Nobody's ever thrown him off balance. Nobody's ever actually knocked. Lampley argues that if Canelo loses the discipline that has made him wealthy and successful, the only person capable of actually defeating him is himself. If he gets tired of the grind, the structure, and the pressure, he may become vulnerable. However, Lampley does not see anyone beating him, including Terence Crawford.
Down. There's only one official knockdown in his career, and it was because he bounced off the ropes when Jose Cotto hit him with a hard shot to the chest. And the referee employed a strict interpretation of the rules and said, oh, the ropes held you up, so that's a knockdown. He's never been put on his back by anybody. He rides horseback every morning. His legs are the strongest in the sport. You're not going to beat Canelo until somehow over.
Still, Lampley makes it clear that Crawford is no ordinary opponent. He compares Crawford to Sugar Ray Robinson not just for style, but for having a complete package: defense, offense, timing, and a hit-mean streak that shows up when to fight demands it. That edge is what allows Crawford to shift to fight in his favor anytime he wants. Now I could change my mind when we get closer, but Crawford to me is a latter-day Sugar Ray Robinson. He has the multiple skills of Sugar Ray Robinson. He can defend or attack. He has a deep inner mean streak that he can employ at any moment in a fight to get what. When it came to Daniel Cormier, he didn't make a crystal clear prediction, but he gave away enough clues to understand where his head's at. He showed a lot of respect to both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, calling them two of the best boxers of this generation. When it came to breaking down the weight difference and recent performances, he seemed to lean slightly in Canelo's direction. Cormier pointed out how Crawford will be moving up to 168 pounds, a weight class he's never fought in before, while Canelo has not only fought at 168, but even went up to 175 in previous bouts. That experience at higher weights matters, and Cormier repeated this point more than once. It wasn't just about muscle, it was about how carrying that weight affects performance. He noted that Canelo might not be as sharp as he was at 154 or 160, but he still holds the size and strength advantage at this stage, even while giving Crawford his flowers, saying he's 41-0 with 31 knockouts and has won titles across 4 divisions. Cormier seemed cautious about how that greatness would translate at super middleweight. He praised Crawford's motivation, mentioned how seriously he's taking the fight and how personally invested he is, but still couldn't ignore that he's going up against a man who's already proven himself in the heavier divisions. The predictions are already flying, but what's yours? Is Canelo going to remind everyone why he's been king for so long, or is but about to shake up history? Drop your prediction in the comments below.